Run your law firm the right way. This is the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. Your hosts, Jim Hacking and Tyson Mutrux. Let's partner up and maximize your firm. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's Tyson, and I'm back with another bite-sized episode, and I will tell you what, this one is exciting to me, and I think you're going to find it really exciting as well. And we're going to explore something that I've been playing around with personally, and it's blowing my mind, to be honest with you. So let's get started with chatting with ChatGPT 4. But before I get to that, if you have any topics that you want me to cover, shoot me a text. Love to hear from you. Just text me at 314-501-9260. Again, love to hear from you. We get a lot of texts, and I love seeing them. So I've been getting a lot of great suggestions, and I'm going to try to get to what I can. All right, so what is ChatGPT? If you don't know at this point, man, are you missing out. But it's artificial intelligence. It was the first major one that came out in November of last year of 2022. And it is really, right now it's getting more complex. Back then it was doing very basic operations for you. So it could do basic math. By the way, apparently it's gotten worse at math. It's an AI assistant, I guess is the way of putting it. So it will answer questions for you using artificial intelligence. We are doing some more advanced things with it. I can cover in other episodes, but it is starting to do more advanced things. For example, I had it find flights for me to Miami the other day. It actually did a pretty decent job. It didn't book them for me. It's not gotten to that point yet, but I gave it very specific criteria, and it went and found me flights. It's getting better and better. And the speed with which it's advancing is quite incredible. And what I'm going to show you, you're going to see as well. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. All right. So let's talk really, and the tip today, what we're going to be covering is the conversational ability of the new ChatGPT function. And I do have the paid version, just so you know. So if any of you are going to your apps and you don't see it, that may be the reason why. I do have a paid version for ChatGPT. It is very cool. So let's first go over some of the capabilities of it. All right, really quick, just give me a second. All right, so first let's go over some of its conversational capabilities. For those of you that have used ChatGPT, you know that it can handle text-based tasks fairly easily, like generating emails, creating drafts for legal blogs. Even it can outline arguments for your case. I've played around with it and done that as well. The voice feature, though, it adds just another layer where it makes an interaction that feels more like a dialogue rather than just typing on a screen. And you're going to hear it in a second because I'm going to do a demo for you. It's really cool. You can speak to it just like you would a legal assistant or a paralegal, asking it to draft a letter or summarize long documents. Really cool. ChatGPT I'm going to talk a little bit about data analysis. It's also a great tool for analyzing large chunks of text. And while this isn't, a substitute for in-depth legal research or other data analysis, it does a really good job of quickly giving you the gist of some sort of complex legal document, a case, data that you're looking at, and it can save you valuable time. With the new voice feature, you're not having to, copy and paste or type that stuff into there. You can just speak it into there and then have a conversation about it, which is really, really interesting. Now, there are some limitations. I did have it give me some examples of things it could do, and then it couldn't actually do those things. For example, it can't actually set a reminder for you. It can't set a task. It's limited. If you're using it for legal research, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I did use that as an example just earlier, just kind of playing around, but it's not something you want to use for legal research. There was an attorney recently that got in trouble for citing a case that they got from ChatGPT that was not a real case. So there are some definite drawbacks of it. But let's dig into this and see what you think. By the way, this is not scripted. I've got an idea of what I want to ask it. Okay. So this is not scripted. I'm just going to go kind of like you would normally use it. All right. So here we go. There's a little microphone. Hey, so I want to create some long tail keywords because I want to focus on voice search for my website. Can you help me come up with some questions and some ways of tailoring how people, or what I might have on my website so that people can better find me with voice search?
Absolutely, Mr. Mutrux. Focusing on voice search is a smart move, given the increasing use of voice-activated devices. For a personal injury law firm like yours, you'd want to target more natural and conversational queries. Questions to consider. What should I do after a car accident in your location? How to find the best personal injury lawyer near me? How much compensation can I expect for a slip and fall? What are my rights as an accident victim? Ways to tailor your website. 1. Add FAQs. Create an FAQ section using these long-tail keywords to directly answer common voice queries. 2. Use conversational language. Make your content more conversational.
So I want to show you something. You actually tap to interrupt.
3. Blog posts.
Can you give me some tips on actually how you think people might be asking questions of the voice search, whether it is Google Assistant or Siri?
Certainly, Mr. Mutrux. When people use voice search, they often phrase questions more naturally, as if they're speaking to a friend. This is different from typing queries, which are often more abbreviated. For example, instead of typing personal injury lawyer, someone might ask, who is the best personal injury lawyer near me? Rather than car accident.
So I'm going to pause it there. So I don't know if you noticed, but she actually said in there, or it. I even said she. You can change the voices, which is kind of cool. There's some creepy ones in there, but you can actually change the tone of the voice, male, female, different versions of each. But everything that we just did in this is all on it's actually in the app. So everything that it said to me, it's saved, right? No one has to take any notes, which is pretty cool. So this is pretty awesome. There's another feature. It's not a feature. It's the same thing that I'm talking about, but it mentioned whenever I asked it questions earlier, it told me that it could take notes during meetings. I actually thought it was a pretty cool thing. So what I'm going to do is during the rest of this, I'm going to have it record the conversation and then tell me, or I'm going to tell you at the end whether or not it did a very good job. So, all right. So we're going to begin to wrap things up. If you'll take notes while I talk, I would really appreciate it. Can you take notes for me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mutrux, but I can't take notes for you. However, you can easily record or jot down the ideas and some suggestions we're discussing for your own reference later on. Is there anything specific you'd like to go over or clarify?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to wrap up this episode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how your voice feature is pretty cool. It's going to be opening up some pretty intriguing avenues for lawyers that are willing to stay ahead of the tech curve, which I think is pretty cool. It's not at this point, you're not really a one-stop solution, but that's fine. I completely understand that. That's expected at this point. But I think in the future, you're going to provide a lot of value. And I see how this using you as a voice feature is going to be pretty amazing in the future. And I think that OpenAI, I think they're really on the cutting edge. And so I think that you all are really winning at this point in the battle, but I don't think the war's over. I think Bard is going to be advancing. All these other AIs are really going to be advancing. So it's really cool. But for any of you that have questions or any topics you want me to cover, just shoot me a text, 314-501-9260, and I'll try to cover it. But let me just tell you, I'm going to see, even though it said they could not take notes, it told me I could take notes earlier. See, it's one of those. Here we go. But I'm trying to interrupt and stop her. So I'm going to stop it. And then it actually took all those notes as I was talking. So even though it said I couldn't take the notes, it did take all of those notes. So it will do those things for you. But hopefully you'll get something out of this. I think it's a really cool feature. Have fun with it. Text me if you thought of anything cool that you can use it for. But I will also say this, it's going to talk back to you. not in a bad way. I mean, like it's going to actually conversate with you. So this isn't something that you're going to be able to just kind of put in your pocket and have it record and transcribe. It's going to be interacting with you. Just keep that in mind. But I am wrapping things up as I told ChatGPT. And if you're wondering how it knew I was a law firm and things like that, you can give, in the paid version at least, I don't know about in the free version, you can give it instructions on, you can tell it more about you. You can give it, for example, I told it that I've got a personal injury law firm. I told it that we have a podcast, and I gave it a bunch of information. Okay. And I gave it a bio about me. And so it has this information on me, and it's actually learning. I've got learning turned on. So the more I use it, the more it's able to adapt to what I need it for. So thought that'd be pretty cool. But until next week, remember that consistent action is the blueprint that turns your goals into reality. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. To stay in contact with your host and to access more content, go to MaximumLawyer.com. Have a great week and catch you next time.